First and goal from the 6. Smith can't find anyone. Backpedaling.
Wow.
Throws picked off all the way back. Kinchins, the rookie out of your alma mater, returns at 103 yards.
Watch at times.
Second and goal. Smith pass.
My goodness.
Second down at 6. Fake to Williams. Stafford fires downfield. It is caught.
Well, here we go again. Seahawks lose another embarrassing game. And it was off of Geno Smith's 3 interceptions, which I feel very strongly about his performance. And of course, Matthew Stafford with a game-winning touchdown, which was, by the way, a beautiful pass followed by a beautiful catch by the receiver. Now, before we get into this, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification. And this is also a place if you'd like to vent about the Seahawks. And here's how I'm going to vent immediately. I am now wearing my Russell Wilson jersey because I really missed the guy. I missed him the moment he was traded. And even then, I was understandable about it when they traded him, but I knew that Geno Smith was not going to be the guy of the future. Now, he had a decent couple last 2 seasons, but now this season, he has not been good. I mean, with all those interceptions that he's been throwing, failing to close games. I mean, let's just get right into the game at this point because in the first quarter, nobody scored. And Geno Smith kind of had a drive going, but then he had a pass for Jackson Smith and Jigba. And unfortunately, I guess Geno threw the ball too hard because it was on 3rd down, so he was trying to make a big play out of it. Although Kenneth Walker was open, so he could have passed to him for a short pass and maybe try to juke his way out to get a first down because it was a 3rd and 9. So I guess you had to pass it to Jackson Smith and Jigba, but even then I did not like the pass. It was too hard of a pass. That's why Njigba was not able to catch it, leading to the interception. But luckily, the defense actually held up pretty well in the first half considerably. Only gave up 3 points throughout the first half. And Geno Smith actually did rebound to throw at least a couple touchdowns, one to Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba to make it 13-3. And makes me even happier because Njigba was actually on my fantasy football team. And I might actually win this week, considering that I was not even favored to win this game. And by the way, if you would like to get more information about my fantasy football team, go ahead and join that membership. It's only $5 a month, and you'll get exclusive post-game shows about my fantasy football team. It's been an exciting season, by the way. So it was the first half, and it looked like the Seahawks, for once, was going to have control of this game so that they can win, get a hold of the division. Nope. It turns out the Rams erased a 13-3 lead to make it 13-13. And this is where things would get worse. But now, granted, one of those scoring, the touchdown, was thanks to a pass interference. But I'm not even going to blame the referees for this at this point because Seahawks was just bad. And then we saw Geno Smith, where it was 13-13. Smith was actually driving the ball pretty well. And there was a pass interference against the Rams, which gave the Seahawks a huge chance to take the lead. And Smith on first down threw not only an interception, but he threw a pick 6. It was a horrible pass, which led to that pick 6. And I think what they should have done, they should have just ran the ball when you're on first down. But hey, Ryan Grubb, Husky offensive coordinator, pass happy because he had Michael Penix and that offensive line. Doesn't exactly work that well when you're playing with the Seahawks with no offensive line. So maybe you should have gave the ball to Kenneth Walker on that play. Bad play calling, and of course, bad passing by Geno Smith, which led to the pick 6. But eventually, I guess later on, Seahawks kind of made up for it with a block punt. And then Geno Smith again throws another pick. And this was also in the red zone. So that's 3 interceptions total. But fortunately, Smith was able to tie the game at the end of regulation with a nice pass to Jackson Smith and Jigba, along with really nice passes to Cody White. Had a nice 4th down conversion on Jackson Smith and Jigba. And that was on 4th down, by the way. So, you know what? I'll give credit that Geno Smith actually at least tied the game to go into overtime. And again, the Seahawks had a chance again. They were driving the ball beautifully. And then on fourth down, they ran the ball consecutively and predictably. The Seahawks, unfortunately, could not get through the fourth down, which led to Matthew Stafford throwing that game-winning walk-off touchdown, which, again, beautiful pass leading to a beautiful catch. So the Rams would win the game. Now, going into NFL standings, where are we at right now? Surprisingly, the Arizona Cardinals actually have the lead in the division, 5-4. Rams at 4-4, 49ers at 4-4, and the Seahawks are now at 4-5, which is just absolutely brutal to see. And this is going to be going into bye week, by the way. Oh, God, they're going to be playing the 49ers, and then they're going to play the Cardinals. I could see, wow, I think 4-7 is going to happen. I hate to say it, but you are not going to win in San Francisco. And Cardinals, I don't know. I think Seahawks are losing steam at this point, so I don't see any of those victories happening. And at this point, with how the season is going, and before I even get into that, let's look at the stats really quick. Geno Smith, 363 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Yeah, sure. Numbers were nice. I mean, it's kind of, you would kind of expect him to get those kind of numbers, as Brian Grubb's a very pass-happy offensive coordinator. So, of course, he's going to do that. And when you at least have Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett and a decent tight end core. Kenneth Walker, 25 carries, 83 yards. They actually ran the ball a little bit more. Jackson Smith and Jigba played very well. 7 receptions, 180 yards, and 2 touchdown receptions. So those were the big points of the team. But here's my saying. Maybe it's time at this point. Why not give Sam Howell a chance? Now, it's not going to be ideal anyway either, because offensive line is also terrible, but I want to see what he can do under pressure, because Smith had plenty of opportunities, even with solid protection, to win this game, and did not happen. And also, Smith struggles to close games. Like, he's just not closing games. And I know I've had haters telling me that, well, Smith did it in 2023. Well, it's not 2023. It's actually 2024, in case you were wondering. And actually, I want to look up the game-winning drives that were from the 2023 season. So let's go to that. Let's go to that, shall we? So game-winning drives, here we are looking at 2023. So the Lions. So that was an overtime game. We weren't even sure if the Lions were going to be any of that kind of good. I mean, that's when the season was just early, so there was that. And then you were playing against a Cleveland team that was struggling, especially where they didn't even have their starting quarterback. Deshaun Watson wasn't even playing that game. They were playing with a third-string quarterback of that kind of caliber before Joe Flacco took over. Then your other game-winning drive was against the Washington Commanders, which was not even good, which is, there are reasons why they were able to get a draft pick to get Jaden Daniels. Then, the fourth game, you had a game-winning drive against the Titans, which, by the way, was also a dead team. And then you play against the Arizona Cardinals when the season was pretty much over, and the Cardinals were not any good either. So I would like to say that all 5 of those game-winning drives came with some kind of an asterisk, where the only one that had maybe legitimacy was the Detroit Lions. So other than that, your 4 other game-winning drives were teams that didn't even make the playoffs. So I'm going to have to asterisk pretty much the majority of them. And the only game-winning drive he has this season is against the New England Patriots, which, by the way, they are not a good team either. And you had your opportunity to win against the 49ers and the Giants, and you didn't do that either. So don't even tell me that Geno Smith is a clutch quarterback, because he's not. Because, granted, 5 game-winning drives in 2023. Sure, whatever. But understand that 4 of those were against non-playoff teams, and only 1 of them was against the playoff team. So I would like to say, and I hate to say it, it doesn't count. Now, are they going to go to Sam Howell with a 4-5 record? Of course not. But I think eventually it may be inevitable for it to happen. But even then, I think we're in a position where if the Seahawks end up being 4-7, I honestly think that they just got to blow it up after this season and just start this thing fresh, see what Mike Macdonald can do with new personnel, because much of this personnel is under the Pete Carroll regime. And now there are Seahawks fans saying that we're really missing Pete Carroll, but I'm going to stand by it that I think it was time for Pete Carroll to go. Now, about Mike Macdonald's, just, I don't know, because this is quite a talented team. It really is. But maybe it's either it's still a personnel problem, or maybe is it a coaching problem? I don't know, but I don't really feel good about the Seahawks for the rest of the season. So I'm still going to say it's too early to judge anything on Mike Macdonald. But I do think the concerns are Geno Smith with his lack of ability to even close these games. So that's where I'm going to rest. And thankfully, the Seahawks are on a bye week, so hopefully they can regroup and somehow find a way to get a victory against the 49ers in San Francisco, which chances of that happening pretty significantly low. But that's going to do it. Just want to say thank you for watching this post-game show about the Seahawks. Hopefully I made it, gave you something to listen to for your commute to work, for your 9-to-5 job, or whatever you're doing, or a commute to school. Glad I could do that for you. Anyways, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification, and painfully saying, go Hawks.